Welcome to Talks with LaKisha. I am your host, Dr. LaKisha James. Before I introduce my guests, I would like to ask you guys a question. How many of you like the tech industry? I bet a lot of you do. Well, for those of you that like the tech industry, you'll love my next guest, Julia Arpag. She is the CEO and founder of tech recruitment company, Aligned Recruitment. She built a seven-figure firm in less than 2 years through grit, determination, and expert hiring strategies. She has helped hundreds of leaders hire exceptional talent through her work as a recruitment leader, speaker, and executive coach. She lives in Georgia with her two adorable sons, her delightful husband, and their two crazy dogs. You know, we're going to ask her about those crazy dogs, right? So, welcome, Julia. How are you doing today?
Thank you, LaKisha. It's so good to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm doing great today. How are you doing today?
Listen, I'm great. I know we were discussing before we aired that we were in the gym today, so
Oh,
trying to get
yeah.
some day started, trying to get me pumped up. So I'm
Oh,
good to
yeah. We
go.
got those endorphins coursing through our body. We are good to go.
That part right there, that part. So let's go ahead and kick off. Now, you are the CEO and founder of Align Recruitment. When did this venture start for you?
That's a great question. So, the business started in summer of 2023, but I've actually been recruiting since 2014. So I got my start as an admissions recruiter, actually. I recruited people to go to a college up in upstate New York, where I'm from. Then my husband's job brought us down here to Atlanta, Georgia. And I started recruiting for Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Their corporate office is here in Atlanta. And then from there, I moved into agency recruitment and never looked back. It is so fun. It's so fast paced. So then it was just a natural progression to start my own firm in 2023.
I love it. So why the tech recruitment business?
Good question. So I got into tech recruitment. So after I was at Boys and Girls Clubs of America, I moved over to an agency. So for the first year and a half, I was just recruiting recruiters. I was recruiting people to go recruit for clients of the agency, which
Mhm.
was super fun. But then COVID hit and recruiters got hit really hard by COVID, as did many industries. So they
Absolutely.
moved me over to the tech side. So I actually started recruiting for a tech client and I was hiring B2B SaaS sellers. And it was so fun. Like I learned a brand new industry, I learned a brand new profile to hire, and it was so hard. Like hear me say, I speed read the book Mindset by Carol Dweck at the very beginning of COVID because I was like, I need to figure out how to figure this out. Like I've never done this before. This is so foreign to me. But I did figure it out, realized I loved it, and then got headhunted to a tech recruitment agency specifically. Like they only hire for tech startups. So that's what I did right before I started Aligned Recruitment. That agency actually laid me off in 2023 when I was five
Mhm.
weeks postpartum with my baby son. I also had a 2-year-old, two teenage foster sons. It was a crazy moment of my life to get
It
that laid
sounds
off.
like it.
It was insane, Lakeisha. The good news is I'd been thinking about starting an agency for about a year. So when I got laid off, I was like, okay, maybe this is the time. But I was so nervous. I was so scared. So I actually took a job. I was very generous. I had a lot of clients be very generous to me, and they offered me jobs. I actually got 6 job offers within 2 weeks of getting
Wow.
laid off. So I took one. Like I was not brave enough to just start the agency all in. I took one of those W-2 jobs and then thought I would just grow the agency on the side and have it be like 5 hours a week. It just took off so fast. So I ended up going all in at the agency, rescinding my offer acceptance of that W-2 job, and they became a client. It was crazy.
That's interesting. You know, I can relate to being pregnant, having your baby, and then think about, okay, what is to do now? Because I had my last child in 2015, and I was like, ooh, I don't want to go back to work. And I always had in the back of my mind that I want to be an entrepreneur. And I was married at the time, like, ooh, now is the great time because I didn't want her to be raised in childcare. And then I had a husband that had my back. So I was like, you know what? Now is the great time. So I completely understand that. Like, you
That's
got laid
awesome.
off, and listen, what's the plan B? Even a plan C.
Mhm.
So I
Mhm.
completely get it, completely.
And what's
So
cool
you,
is the plan B ended up being better than plan A. Like I love being a business owner. This is fantastic. I'm having way more fun than I've ever had as a W-2. This is incredible.
yes, and it's like you can invest in yourself. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Invest in your future, invest in your children, invest in your family. Just invest. I love it.
Mhm.
I love it. So did you see a need in the tech industry while you started a tech recruitment firm?
Oh my gosh, yes. So a lot of tech recruiters are very transactional.
Mhm.
They're not people first, which I get. Like your clients come to you and say, "You need to go find me people who check all these boxes." So of course
Right.
that's your primary objective.
Mhm.
But something I care very deeply about is being a values-based organization. I'm
Mhm.
a Christian and my faith impacts every single thing I do.
Absolutely.
So the values that we run aligned recruitment with are part of every conversation we have with a client, with a candidate, internally. So that was really important to me, was to have that value-based perspective. I've just never
Mhm.
experienced working for or with an agency that has that kind of perspective. So that was key for me. That was definitely an opportunity I saw in the market that I wanted to fill.
I love that. I love that. So, what challenges did you get? I guess did you face starting your new journey of being an entrepreneur in the tech industry?
Great question. Well, it's a challenge to build something from nothing, right? Like I
That
had
is true.
zero clients, zero revenue, zero idea how to run a business, right? Like I just figured it all out on the fly. I had to learn to sell. So I'd been recruiting for 10 years, but I had
Hmm.
never sold a day of my life. So I luckily closed a couple clients really fast who I had worked with before as a recruiter. And then I literally used all of the money they paid me and immediately turned back around and paid that to a coach. Because I was like, you need to
Hmm.
teach me how to do this. Otherwise, I'm going to have these three clients and then none more ever. No more, sorry, ever. So that was huge, really having that early support to help me figure out how to continue the momentum. And then it's
Hmm.
really never stopped. Like that decision was one of the single best choices we ever made as an agency. And we just continued to get coaching. Like I've never not been coached. Right now, I'm working with an executive leader who specifically coaches leaders so I can improve as a people leader, as a client leader, and really just keep leveling up in that area.
I love it. Relationships are very important when you start a business.
Say
That
that
is
one
the
more time.
fun. Relationships, building business
Oh,
relationships are very important. So that was great that you
absolutely.
had built those relationships that assisted you
Yeah.
in starting your journey. Yeah, you built the firm to seven figures in 2 years. What was that journey like? That's
It was
impressive.
crazy. It was crazy. I appreciate that. I'm so grateful. I mean,
Mhm.
a lot of it is that clients trust us, right? Like we've worked really hard to deliver good results for them. So a lot of our clients come back again and again and again. A lot of our clients refer their friends to us. We honestly, because we are unique, we are people first. We do really care deeply for our clients. We care deeply for our candidates. It's not just walking dollar signs. Like I've heard other agency recruiters refer to their clients and candidates as walking money bags, and that's not
Wow.
how we think. That's not how we
Hmm.
treat people. So I think people can feel that difference, and I think that's why we've been able to grow so quickly. So I'm very, very grateful for that.
Absolutely. I love that. So what type of clients do you have?
Tech startups. So
Tech
we work
start.
with, yeah, typically seed, Series A, and Series B startups are the companies that we most commonly work with. And
Hmm.
our goal is to be their go-to recruitment partner. So that means we recruit across verticals. We've decided to specialize by industry instead of specializing by specific type of role. So that
Hmm.
means we could be working on an engineer, we could be working on a salesperson, we could be working on a marketing person. We recruit across the org because, again, we want to function like an extension of their team and really take on any of those growth levers that they're pulling on the hiring front.
I love that. I love that. So what type of advice do you give the professional tech looking for employment in 2026?
Great question. I get this question all of the time. So I'm going to beat this drum till I'm blue in the face. You have got to stop applying for jobs. Like you're just chucking your resume in a sea of 1,000 resumes. Like that's a terrible way to get noticed. You have
Yes.
got, like everyone's in sales. I don't care if you're a software engineer or a product manager, you are in sales. So you have got to work your network, same as I did when I started the business. Everyone has got to work their network. You've got to reach out to the first, second, third, fourth, fifth degree connections of everyone you know. If you
Yes.
do see a job you want, sure, I guess throw your resume in the bucket, whatever. But what's going to be a way better use of your time is finding everyone who works there, finding some kind of in. Like, does your aunt's neighbor's sister's friend work there? Great. Get a connection, get a referral, get someone on the phone who can vouch for you. That is how you are going to land a job. I'm not kidding. I cannot believe how many posts I see on LinkedIn of people being like, oh, I've applied to 7,500 jobs. I'm like, stop doing that. It's not working. Do something different.
Right. And it's been like that for years. So it's like every like 200 you apply to, you maybe get like what, 1% to call you
Yeah,
back?
it's a terrible
2%.
system. Yeah.
It's yeah,
Work
and it's just
smarter,
getting
not
worse.
harder.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So let's pivot for a moment. You're also a speaker. What has that experience been like for you? You seem
Oh,
like you
good
have a
question.
bubbly and just come in just like on alerts. I love it. I love your personality. So I love it.
I've always had a lot of energy. I appreciate you saying that. I'm the oldest of seven kids, so it wasn't really an option not to have high energy. So that's always
Mm.
been my life. So, yeah, I love public speaking. I was super, super excited. I got to speak twice last week, actually. One at an HR and talent acquisition conference here in Atlanta,
Mhm.
and one for a recruiters conference that was virtual and international. So, it's just so fun for me. Like, I love getting to share my story with people. I've just seen that audiences really resonate with it
Mhm.
because I'm very authentic. I'm very real. I'm very transparent about being a founder who started from nothing,
Mhm.
being a mom, being a wife, being having been laid off. Just the whole journey, I think, really resonates with people, and they just appreciate that I'm coming from a perspective of coming alongside my audience versus
Mhm.
coming from the top down at my audience. So, yeah, that's been a total blast. I love getting to speak.
Absolutely, because I think for me being a speaker as well, you have to be able to relate to your audience. So they can be like, you know what, I can relate to that. I can relate to being laid off. I can relate to having this
Mhm.
happen to me. This happened to me, and this is the outcome that I got. And then, of course, you tell them what happened to you, and you got a different outcome. It's like we go through the same things, but we
Exactly.
have different outcomes. So I love that. I
Exactly.
love that. Now, do you
Yeah.
only speak on tech topics, or do you speak on other like empowerment topics or things like that?
Good question. So I actually most commonly speak about recruitment and
Mhm.
entrepreneurship. So
Okay.
those are the two topics I most commonly speak about because to your point, people want to see themselves in
Yes.
you, but they
Hmm.
also want to know what is going to be the transformation if I sit here and listen to your talk. Like, how are you going to help me? How are you going to help me achieve my goals? So that's huge, right? Like, I'm like, hey, if you're a recruiter, if you're an agency owner, if you're an aspiring entrepreneur, let me give you a playbook. Like, this is what worked for me. This is what you can implement in your life to have the same results. So
I
that's what a
love
lot of
it.
the talks I give do.
So you've written any books or any type of how-to manuals or anything? It sounds like you have. You're thinking about it.
So I actually was approached by a publisher on LinkedIn. They saw my content. My LinkedIn content has been a lot of our story as an agency.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked if I'd be willing to write a book. And I said, thank you, not right now. I have two sweet little babies at home. They are 2 and 4. I'm running this agency. I'm investing very heavily in our growth as an agency. Very honored to be asked. And that is on my list for the next couple years.
I
But I
knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I saw it. I saw it. I said, I know you're going to write something, a how-to book, a book or something. I like,
Yes,
yeah, I think you
yes.
should. That's amazing. Because you have a
Thank
lot to say. You have like a story that so many of us need to hear, just like you're on
I appreciate
stage. So
I appreciate
yeah,
you saying that. Thank you.
absolutely. Now you're not gonna ask this question, right? Because I know a lot of us we juggle parenting and careers. How
Hmm.
does that work for you? Because I know you say you have a 2 and a 4-year-old, and then you're married. So how does that work, juggling your
Yeah,
career?
I get this question all the time. I ask myself this question all the time. I'm like, how are we making this work? How is it still standing? What is going on? So I think what's incredible is that my husband and I are 100% partners. So we're not a traditional kind of gender norm family
Mhm,
where one parent works and is the sole income earner and the other
mhm,
parent just like only watches the kid, right? And then we don't like that. We don't like that model. So we both work fully remotely. So we both have a lot of flexibility.
that's
We do
great.
send our kids, yeah, we send our kids to a Montessori day school so they get to have that experience. And then we have a ton of time with them at home. Like I'm so fortunate that my husband does all the cooking and grocery shopping. People get so mad at me when I tell them that, but it's
You're
true.
blessed. When you
I'm
find a
so
man that
blessed.
cooks, like, oh, yes.
Oh, he's a gourmet chef. He was considering going to culinary school, but decided not to because he's an early to bed, early to rise kind of guy. So he was like, I can't stay out at the restaurant till 2 a.m. So that's really the reason he didn't become a chef. So it worked
Mhm.
out in my favor because now I get to have these like restaurant quality meals every single night. So it's awesome. It's
I
awesome.
love that. I
It's
love
fantastic. I
that.
know my friends get so mad at me when I tell them about it, but it's just the truth. It's the truth. So that's huge, is having a true partner. And honestly, I've tried different iterations of my schedule for the
Mhm.
whole 2.5 years that I've run the business. So sometimes I've gotten up at 4:30 in the morning and fit in my time with Jesus and my workout all before the kids get up at 6:30. Other times when my kids are going through a sleep regression and they're getting up at 4:30, that doesn't work quite as well. So I have to pivot all of those things to different times during the day. But I think that the name of the game is just being super flexible and knowing like these are my non-negotiables that I have to fit in a day. And then everything else, we're going to fit it in as we can.
I love it, the non-negotiables. I'm with you on that. Giving God his time and then working out. That's like a non-negotiable for me as well.
Hmm. Hmm.
I love it. I love it. Well, Julia, thank you so much for taking your time on your busy schedule to share with us today. I really appreciate it. And I know we've been trying to get together. Whew, it's been some months, right? I think since last year.
Yeah,
But thank
yeah.
you so much. I really enjoyed our conversation. And as you all know, I like to close out my segment with something you can take with you. Remember, no one has to believe in you but you. I am your host, Dr. LaKisha James with Talks with LaKisha, where you get real conversation, real information. And I'll see you guys next week.